Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Friday edition of the JP Peterson Show. Man, it has been a fun and interesting week, and I am and I'm not tired. I am not tired. I am ready to freaking go. Let's freaking go. Let's talk some more Rays baseball. Let's talk some stadium with the great Ken Hagan, who will join us at 10:30. I got a special treat for you kids. My good friend Paul Wilson, actor extraordinaire, is going to join us. He's got a new role in this really cool HBO show called Duster.
Oh, that is a cool show.
Have you seen this?
Yes.
Have you seen the guy that plays Richard Nixon?
Well,
That's
course
our
it's
friend Paul Wilson.
Of course it's Paul Wilson. He is
Of
he
course
is
it's Paul
Richard
Wilson.
Nixon.
He is Richard Nixon. Yeah. In fact, I need to have him shoot me some of that video. So you'll see him as Richard Nixon. So that's going to be really
Great.
cool. We're going to talk about all the summer blockbusters that are coming out, those that have come out. So we'll detach a little bit from the sports world here to have a little fun with Paul Wilson at 11:30. So we got a great show coming your way. You guys are already in the comments.
Oh, they're already here.
How good is that? How good is that? Fantastic. Hey, first things first, we got to, first of all, get our healing vibe big time to Hunter Biggie, who got absolutely smoked last night in the Rays game by a foul ball. It was, man, this was scary.
And this is not supposed to be something that happened since they made it mandatory to put the fences up in front of the dugouts.
But I'm always like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Like sitting above the fence right there.
And not paying attention.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not putting it on Hunter Biggie. These guys are just so used to it. They play so many games, and this rarely happens. I mean, I'm shocked it doesn't happen more.
Yeah.
But there's nothing you can do in this situation. I don't care if there's guys looking right at the batter. There's nothing you can do. It's too fast. It's 105 miles an hour off the bat, and it's about a 20-yard distance, maybe less. Now, I'll show it to you here. I think we have it right here. This is from
like in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, that's how quick it was. I think it's Rushman 2. I think it was. Watch it again. Oh my God!
It hit a couple of guys, but it got him right in the face.
Yeah, right in the face. Oh my God! Scared. Took him. Stopped the game for about 10 minutes. He gave the thumbs up though.
Yeah,
and I've been searching around everything. I went on his Twitter page to find out if there's anything more. The Rays haven't released anything more. He gave the thumbs up last night. Cash said after the game that he was alert and he was talkative. So at least, that means he wasn't, concussed or knocked out, which is great. That would have been really, really bad because then you don't know what the damage is from that point. So just, man, healing vibes out to Hunter Biggie and hope he's going to be okay. I just, man, it's a miracle that he didn't get knocked out.
Drew Rasmussen said after the game, when they were doing their press conferences there in the gangbangers in the locker room, he said that he talked to him at the hospital already and he's already cracking jokes.
Oh, thank God.
As of last night. Yeah.
Thank God. Thank God. So, dodged the bullet there, like almost literally. So, healing vibe to him, and hopefully he can make it back soon. I think he's on the injured list right now.
Yeah, he's already on the injured list.
Yeah, hopefully he can make it back, and that could have been really, really, really bad. I don't know. Guys aren't gonna like suddenly be hiding behind, but you can sit right down below, I think, and peer through the net. That's what I would be doing.
And I wonder now if. And, a lot of times these things spawn what some consider to be overreactionary things. Like you wonder, him being on the IL, are they going to have a rule now? Dude, if you're on the IL, you're not on the active roster. We don't need you standing up at the at the fence in the dugout. We might not even need you in the dugout, but you hate to take that away from the players because they want to be with their teammates during the game, right?
Like, and I hate to overreact when something rare happens. We do this all the time. Something rare happens, and we have to make a law that, that just stops. It's just all these patriarchal laws that are just ridiculous. Let's just make an adjustment, be smart, and people will figure it out, right? Once they've seen this, I think there'll be a bunch of guys that probably sit down now.
And accidents happen. I mean,
accidents happen.
Sports and
don't have to make 6 new laws and 8 new rules. Accidents happen, and let's just thank the Lord that nothing serious happened here, because it could have been. It really, really could have been. Could have killed him. It literally could have killed him. So,
sure.
I don't need a law to tell me something I just saw that's going to make me adjust or a new rule.
If I see somebody fall off the edge of a cliff, I don't need a law telling me not to stand on the edge of a cliff.
There we go. So let's, thank God it didn't, it wasn't worse. That is amazing. Okay. So we're going to get right into it because there's already questions, and I think there's lots of questions still to be answered about the Rays sale. And I really want to get into a lot of the misinformation that is out there. Congrats to John Romano, has figured out that the Rays are for sale. Yeah. He wrote a column basically saying that the Rays are for sale. Yeah, they've been for sale for a long time. I'm being a tad facetious, but I read his column, and it's just the constant idea that St. Pete is still a viable option, I think, is just silly. I think it's just silly. I might be wrong, but I think it's just I don't know how many times Major League Baseball has to say and tell everybody that they're not going to build a stadium in St. Pete. They don't want that. And that's what this new ownership group is all about. And I know there's a lot of questions. I guess, I don't want to go to the comments too early, but I think your questions are really, really good. So good morning to you guys. Kenneth McClary, good morning to you. Hope your daughter's doing well. Give us an update.
Yes. Sergio
Bilger says, good morning. Happy Friday. Rumors that there might be more than one buyer for the Rays. Okay, guys, we talked about this for 2 days. Sergio, you're better than this. You've been listening. You've been listening, right? Guys, Patrick Zalewski did not just surface this week. Okay? This whole group, the Tampa Bay investors that we told you about in February, that we broke the story in February. Okay, this is the group we've been talking about. Major League Baseball has vetted this group. So when you read stories that, now Major League Baseball has to vet this group, no. This group is vetted thoroughly. Now, they may tell you in public, now we have to vet them. Trust me, Major League Baseball has vetted this group. And, I see B in here saying, well, I'm not sure Patrick Zalewski has the money. If Patrick Zalewski did not have the money, he would not be getting a letter of intent to buy the team. This didn't just come out of nowhere. These people are well known, and they have been well vetted. This group has been put together for a reason. They have political ties to the state, to Tampa Bay and to the state. And when all the names are revealed, you're going to say, wow, no wonder Major League Baseball loved this group. No wonder they believe that they can get a stadium done in Hillsborough County. Do you think baseball is just going to go, here's and they're just going to, this guy, whoever he is, got a letter of intent to buy the Rays. And I know guys are saying, John, I told you this. I told you this yesterday. John Morgan's going to come out and say, I got more money and we're going to throw at it and we're going to buy the Rays. Don't work that way, Johnny. Sorry. Love you, but it doesn't work that way. It's not just going to go to the highest bidder. Baseball wants the stadium thing figured out. Memphis hedge fund guy, they have no idea if he can get a stadium done in Hillsborough County. They don't want to go through this stuff that they've done with John Fisher and Stu Sternberg, where we have these really, really bad owners that aren't trustworthy and can't figure out how to do deals, which is basically just be honest and be a community partner, and you can get the deal done. Now, if you don't want to be a community partner and you want to suck every dime out of the public coffers, you're not going to get a deal done. Stu's tried that multiple times. And guess what? Nobody wants to work with them anymore. It's not just who has the most money. It has to be the right people in the right group. People that are trustworthy, people that are solid, people that are well-known, people that are on the board of trustees at the University of Florida, people that have a $1.4 billion net worth. And don't forget, Zalewski is not the only investor. He's just the anchor investor that's going to write the big check, presumably. There are other big money people involved in this. Dan Doyle, for instance. So it's not. I think some people just get it twisted. This is not some. You're not going to freaking the auction to buy a car here. Oh, I'm going to bid more than him, and I'm going to get the team. Yoo-hoo! No, that ain't how it works. Oh, well, he's got more money than he's going to get the team. No, that's just not how it works.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to have a good bid. Don't get me wrong. They're not making Stu sell it at a depressed price. This is at least $300 to $400 million more than it's worth. And all these other yahoos, with all due respect, and all these other guys want to say, I got more money. Rich guys like to do that. They really like to do that. There's a lot more to it, though. And baseball, hopefully, is going to be smarter and not just let these teams go to the highest bidder, and they're going to really vet these people and find out, can they get the deal done in Hillsborough County where they want the stadium? And the answer to that is yes. And hopefully we're going to find out that building a baseball stadium is not so hard when you have willing owners who are willing to partner with the community. Not the community giving up everything. Well, St. Pete even tried that, and it still didn't work with Stu. But doing a partnership that benefits everybody. That's how stadiums get done these days. Clearly, Stu not aware of that. So I believe, as I said before, I believe MLB has thoroughly vetted these folks. In fact, I know they have. They've met with them many, many times. They know where they are. They just didn't appear out of the woods yesterday and throw some money down, like many of you think. No, that's not how it works. So, and I've been in touch with Kirk Badenhausen, who wrote the story for Sportico, and we're trading some information now. He's going to join us on Tuesday. He's been here to Tampa a lot. His son plays on the UT baseball team, so that's where he's gotten to know a lot of the information that's going on here. And so, yeah, we're going to compare notes here and have something for you on Tuesday. And there may be some more additional reporting coming. So hold on, folks. Again, I'm not sitting here saying this deal is 100% done, because with Stu Sternberg, anything is possible. But the main thing we know is that MLB is driving this sale. It is an exorbitant amount of money for this team without a stadium and without a stadium deal. It's a great offer. All the other noise and clanging pots that you hear here in Orlando and Memphis and other stuff, it's just noise. It's just noise. And if you're paying attention to it, you're not very savvy as to the way this works. So this is the letter of intent. This is where it starts. Again, I'm not saying it's 100%, but this is the group that Major League Baseball wants. This is the favored group we've been telling you about for 3 months. This is the group that can get it done in Hillsborough County. Ken Hagan is aware of this. You'll hear that in a little bit when we get him on. So hopefully this will answer a lot of the questions that you have. And I'm also, not sitting here saying that Patrick Zalewski is the perfect owner. No, I know a little bit about him. I don't know a lot about him. I've gotten direct messages about Ken Babby, who's mentioned here. I've got to do some due diligence to find out if that stuff is really true. So there's a lot that needs to be done. I'm not saying all of these people that are involved in this are perfect people. You've made a lot of money in this world. You probably made a few enemies along the way. That's another thing I've learned in this world. If you've made a lot of money, you've made a few enemies. And when you become a public figure, those enemies are going to come out. And you're going to hear some stuff. I guarantee you about all of these guys. That's going to come out. Are they pure as the driven snow? Doubtful. But can they get the job done? I think they can. I think they can. So let's not piss on this parade just yet. Let's let it play out, and we'll see where it goes from here. But my expectation is a lot of this work has already been done. Topkin had a quote in his piece yesterday that I thought was very interesting, and that that Sternberg was on a conference call with all of his employees, informing him of this letter of intent. And I believe the words he used were somber and frustrated that this deal is going down, which is interesting. You know, and that frustrated means Major League Baseball is driving this train. If he's frustrated that he couldn't get a deal done, that's a lack of self-awareness in a very big way. The only reason this deal's not done is because he used to. Anybody else could have got this done.
And would have very quickly.
And would have gotten this done a long time ago. Long time ago. So onward we go. If you have any other questions, we'll definitely, and I think hopefully Ken Hagan will answer a lot of those questions as well. And again, this thing is not set in stone. We don't know exactly where the stadium's going to be. We don't know exactly when the sale is going to go through. We don't know exactly when that stadium will be done. We don't know exactly where the Rays are going to be playing for the next 3 years. Ken Welch said yesterday, mayor of St. Petersburg, it's going to be Tropicana Field. And he looks forward to the long term of the Rays in Tampa Bay. Short term St. Pete, long term Tampa Bay. So I do not see any pathway whatsoever for this stadium for them to revive the St. Pete deal. First of all, that deal has been exposed as ridiculously, grotesquely bad financially for the city of St. Pete, and everybody knows it. For them to even attempt to revive that boondoggle would create a revolt in a city where the citizens are already in full revolt because they can't rebuild their freaking houses with the lack of permitting and all the other shenanigans that's going on in St. Pete. That city is being run like a freaking carnival. And there is no way they can afford to revive that plan. And I think Mayor Welch would do very well to start focusing on his own residents that still can't get permits to build their houses, rebuild their houses, and stop fooling around with this baseball nonsense. They got way bigger priorities in St. Petersburg, and they don't need baseball. So this idea that, you know, the people that are loyal to the city of St. Petersburg and media that are loyal to the city of St. Petersburg want to keep throwing out there is, in my mind, absolutely ridiculous. And again, it's nothing against St. Pete. They got bigger, better plans. They've moved on from baseball. Most of the business folks have done that. And they're looking, as we talked to Chris Lafley yesterday, Pinellas County Commissioner, they're looking forward to the possibilities of what they can do in this enormous parcel downtown in an incredible real estate market. Things that the city really needs and can make money on instead of handing over billions of dollars to a billionaire who's spit on your city for 20 years. I mean, silly stuff. Got to be grown-ups here. Move on from baseball and fix what's going on in your city. It's a disaster in a lot of ways.
JP, refresh my memory. The lease between St. Pete and the Rays goes through 2028. Is that correct?
Yeah, it got a year added because of the hurricane.
So 2029.
Yeah, well, because I think the lease did go through 28. That's I think so. God, the dates are spinning.
And all the lease dictates is that they have to provide a place to play. It doesn't have to be the Trop, correct?
Right. They have to a major league worthy place to play. Okay. And now, Steinbrenner Field has been deemed that because they're playing there.
Right.
And that's what they were trying to get a settlement. So they didn't have to fix the trop, and they would
Right.
pay for the Rays to play in Steinbrenner Field or someplace else, which could have been, a revamped Clearwater facility, maybe. I don't know.
Right.
But I think it would be Steinbrenner Field because they've already kind of figured that out.
Yeah.
And it's been a huge success. It's been a huge success by every measure. We can nitpick that they haven't sold out every single game. Well, there were plenty of times at Tropicana Field they didn't have 11,000 people.
Yeah.
Tons of times. So let's not get crazy here. And by the way, we're still operating under the same ownership group. And people don't want to think about that, but how many people out there have said a gazillion times, I'm not supporting this guy. Even in Tampa, I'm not using my hard-earned money to pay for tickets, for this. I'm not doing it for this guy. And once he's removed, you're going to see an explosion of support for this team in terms of attendance, in my opinion. So, absolutely. All right, some of the other comments we have coming in here, I might as well get right to those. By the way, real quick on the game last night, the Rays lost to the Orioles. Was it 4-1 the final?
Yep.
8th inning situation. Runners on first and third, 1 out. The all-star first baseman Jonathan Aranda, leading the league in on-base percentage, hitting .286 against left-handers. .286, I said. .410 on-base percentage against left-handers. Is pinch hit for Christopher Morel, a right-hand hitter, hitting .186 against left-handers. .186. And the rest of the metrics are just as bad. What the F? And he strikes out on 3 pitches. I think we have. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. We have some commentary from someone watching the game as well. I think you can hear it.
Not even close. 3 straight pitches.
3 straight pitches.
Jonathan Aranda sitting on the bench.
Sitting on the bench.
Okay.
Oh, we
pushed all the
missed
way
it by
last night.
that much.
Not there.
What's this angle? Not even close. Not even close. I know Morel has been better recently. Hard to be worse. And he's a very nice guy. Very nice young man. Has been very good with Caminero, all that stuff. So we're not trying to be mean-spirited. This is just about his baseball play. But with Chandler Simpson sitting at AAA, and we got to take aim at Meisner as well, who's been awful offensively for the past month and a half, 2 months since his hot start. Come on. And yes, as Mike Gates says here, he's just flailing at pitches. You're flailing at pitches. Come on, dog. Like, they're not good at bats. And when he runs into one, okay, great. He hits a home run. It's not often. And listen, we're not, and for all you people, when I put that on Twitter last night, so you think Cash sucks? No, I think Cash is the best manager in baseball. I don't think that was Cash's call. I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on. Under what metrics, under what managerial thought process do you take out one of the hottest hitters in baseball? And I know Soto throws hard from the left side. I get it. And at times Aranda has hard time catching up. But he's figuring it out. He's hitting .286 against lefties. Morel can't hit freaking water falling out of a boat. .186 against lefties. He's awful. As you saw there, 3 straight pitches in a critical point of the game. Like, I just want to ask Cat, like, what? There must be a reason. There must be a reason, because he's a lot smarter than me. He knows his players a lot better than me. I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason, but I can't figure it out.
Let me break down the Rays' bottom of the 8th, JP. Soto's pitching for Baltimore. Josh Lowe walks. Brandon Lau strikes out. Diaz then singles. So Lowe goes to third. So you've got Diaz on first, Lowe to third, with Aranda coming up with Caminero on deck.
What more could you ask for?
Desperately needing a base runner, right, to load the bases, or a hit to get your guy home from third to cut the lead to 4-2. Morel comes
Somebody
up.
who's going to make contact. right? With a runner at third base and less than
Right.
2 outs,
Right.
would you put up the guy that leads the league in strikeout percentage?
You just need contact. You need.
He
a base
leads the
runner.
league, or did lead the league in strikeout percentage.
Right.
What are we doing?
And then, of course, after Morrell strikes out, they
On
make
3
a pitch
pitches.
and change.
Yeah.
Baker comes in.
Yeah.
Caminero gets his walk, and then Mangum flies out to left.
Yeah. Sharply hit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was a hard hit ball, right? But still, but you took away just a golden opportunity. Like I said before, JP, I know it's not the case, but sometimes some of these moves, it feels like he's doing it on purpose.
I like the only thing I can say is, okay, here's a spot for Morrell to hit a 3-run homer, and then it'll be easier to trade him. I get that's the only thing that makes sense. They're trying to rehabilitate this guy to see if they can get, a bag of balls for him. I mean, it's just, but you're in a pennant race. You're like, you can't throw games away. Like it's an opportunity. Like, and what is Jonathan Aranda thinking? Like, what if you're Jonathan Aranda? What are you thinking? You're like, when Skip comes to you and say, "Hey, Morrell's in for you,"
Dude, I don't.
remember when you played Little League and you got pinch hit for by Scrub Johnny at the end of the bench? That might have been me. It wasn't me. I could hit, especially in elementary school. What's Aranda thinking? All pro at every sport in elementary school. Damn right. I had middle school to that. What are we doing? Like, what is Aranda like? Are you kidding me, Skip?
So was Cash asked about this at the end? Surely somebody asked him about this at the end of the game.
I didn't see any quotes. I don't know if there's anything in the game story about it. But BA brought it up and Dwayne brought it up. They're like, wow, Aranda's hitting 286 against lefties. Okay.
I mean,
yeah, I don't get it. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Ken Hagan is going to join us, and we'll try to get some answers from him on what's going on with the sale of the Rays, what parcels might still be open. Is there a viable option here in Hillsborough County to build a stadium? I think I know the answer to those questions, but I want you to hear them. We're brought to you by the great folks at Jeeves Law Group, jeeveslawgroup.com. They're local, they are trusted, and they get results. If you're in an accident, you got to call them. You've heard Scott Jeeves on this program. Great dude, big Gator fan, great local benefactor, offices in Tampa and St. Pete. He's a local guy, and that matters. JeevesLawGroup.com, non-attorney spokesman, offices Tampa and St. Pete. And Onsite Construction, FL.com. Onsite Construction is your contractor, an honest contractor, a fantastic contractor that gets the job done on time and on budget. Onsite Construction, FL.com is the website. Get in line. Make sure you know your contractor before the hurricane hits, and you got to just go to the internet. You don't want to do that. Know your contractor. Get in line. Back with Ken Hagan right after this. Although it may seem tempting to go without health care insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings, or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. Spring means a time of renewal and Rays baseball, and the folks at Italiano Insurance want to welcome the Rays to Tampa and remind you it's time to renew those insurance policies with the now famous Italiano Insurance Checkup. Let the experienced and friendly agents shop your policy for the best price and coverage. Famous for saving me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year and over $500 on our homeowners. Now that's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Costs less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. That's a big whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with the all-star agents at Italiano Insurance. 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Rays! JP here for Riveters, our new official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. And just like our show, no BS, no corporate chain feel, just amazing, authentic folks serving great comfort food in a casual atmosphere at unheard of prices. Riveters is located just south of Raymond James and Steinbrenner Field on Dale Mabry, walking distance to the park, so free parking, great place for pregame and postgame. Let's talk about fresh food. Nothing is frozen. Burgers, wings, prime rib, roasted fresh daily, never frozen. That makes a huge difference. The mahi, the salmon, also super fresh. All our sauces are original recipes made in-house. Our Warhawk chili and fully loaded potato soup is made fresh in-house. It's the best food anywhere, served by people who actually care. Riveters on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of where the Bucs and Rays play. We'll see you there. Are you looking to renovate your home, rebuild after the hurricanes, or build your dream home from scratch? Well, let me tell you about my friend Jason Fawcett and On-Site Construction. They have over 1,450 satisfied clients, 25 years of experience, over 500 designs, and a talented team of over 40 construction professionals. They believe building something exceptional begins by truly focusing on all the details, even the smallest ones. We understand that construction can be a daunting process, and we're here to make it as smooth and stress-free as possible. Quality is non-negotiable at On-Site Construction. We use the finest materials, employ the most skilled tradespeople, and adhere to the highest industry standards to deliver a product we're proud of and that you're going to love. Our project management is meticulous with a focus on completing projects on time and on budget. Your happiness is our primary driver. So give us a call at 813-579-5789 or check out our incredible website at onsiteconstructionfl.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Riveters, the official bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. Head on over there. You're going to the Rays games this weekend. Got a couple days games, so they'll be open early for lunch. So you can head on over there. You can park there, go in, have a meal, and then head on over. Whether you're going to Uber or walk, you can walk there. It's less than a mile. Come on, man up. Riveters, great place to hang out. We love it there. And if you're planning an event, they have a nice event space there as well, with a big screen, very casual event space, but great for meetings, softball meetups, any type of stuff. Go on over to Riveters at Dale Mabry, North Dale Mabry, just north of 275, south of the stadium. All right, let's welcome in our good friend, Hillsborough County Commissioner, the ranking member of the Hillsborough County Commission, former Florida Gators second baseman, all-around great dude, Ken Hagan, joining us here. What's up, Ken? How are you?
Hey, buddy. I'm doing well. Appreciate the kind words. And first thing I want to say is I love Riveters. I've gone there before four games. So easy to get to, in and out of the ballpark. But great place. I recommend Turkey Reuben.
Turkey Reuben. Isn't the staff great? Don't you love the staff there?
Yeah, it's great. No, I love it.
Love it. All right, we're going to put that in a commercial, by the way. So thank you for that. Appreciate that endorsement as well. All right, it's been a big week, obviously, for the Rays. The letter of intent to sell the team to Patrick Zalupski, a Jacksonville builder, Dream Finders Home CEO, board of trustees of the University of Florida that you love so well. So I'm guessing you know this man. Have you met this man? Tell me what you know about Patrick Zalupski.
Well, I have met Mr. Zalupski. It was several months ago at a Buccaneer game. Certainly, it was just a meet and greet. Apparently, we talked about University of Florida, not Rays purchase or anything like that. But I have met the gentleman. I look forward to getting with him again once the sale has been consummated. But very, very encouraged by the news this week. It's a great day, Tampa Bay, and looking forward to having the opportunity to sit down and work on an agreement for Tampa and Hillsborough County.
Well, that's the thing. Obviously, this group has been vetted by Major League Baseball. There's more vetting to come, I'm sure, but they know who they are, and they feel like they can get a deal done in Hillsborough County. And I've said this for a long time that if Stu Sternberg was not involved, this wouldn't be so hard. So it's time to put up or shut up, right? If this goes through, how confident are you that you can get a deal done with this group?
I'm extremely confident. And in fact, I shared with Commissioner Manfred several months ago, as well as with some of the folks in this ownership group, that if we were getting to the point where we had an opportunity to partner with this group, that I was supremely confident that we would be able to reach an agreement.
Well, what makes you so confident, if I can ask that?
Well, for starters, it was extremely challenging having to negotiate and have discussions with the current ownership group. Let's just be honest. I like to, I get along well with them. Always been respectful to me, and the entire organization has been. So I don't want to leave that out, but
right.
It's just challenging. And I think if you have true ownership interests that are local, maybe not the entire ownership group, but you have folks that are here local, folks that are respected, folks that have the financial capacity, but are also willing to invest the necessary funds, that I believe that we're at a good starting position, because we presented over the years an agreement for half a cost, which is essentially the current paradigm in Major League Baseball, for at least half of the funding, and we were just, for whatever reason, Mr. Sternberg was either unwilling or unable to financially commit to that, while acknowledging that for the team to be successful and sustainable long term, it needs to be intact. And so I'm just devil's in the details. I always caution folks and to resist shooting down any type of ideas until we come to the table with an actual plan, and then that's the time to really discuss it and question it and ask the hard questions. But I think that we're in a real good position should we have that opportunity to sit down, and it looks like that's going to happen.
That's awesome. Ken Hagan joining us here. There's always, I try to refute this as much as I can, but there's always been this false narrative out there that Hillsborough doesn't have any money. Tampa doesn't have any money. Can you address that as far as those statements that are made?
Well, I've always acknowledged up front that Pinellas County has more tourist tax revenue than Hillsborough County does. That's not debatable. It's obvious. It's true. That being said, when you come up with a creative financial model that does not put the burden on taxpayers, that in fact protects taxpayers, and when you structure it in such a way that it's primarily driven by funding sources that have to be utilized in a certain area. I'm not talking about property tax dollars, general revenue dollars. And then when you structure it with entertainment districts and CDDs, things that are fee-based, things that are paid by owners of the property, suddenly when you analyze it and do a deeper dive, it's like, this is a good deal. It's not a bad deal. And so we also have the benefit of the community investment tax that was reauthorized last November, and we weren't even considering those dollars when we made our last proposal to the raise. That wasn't even on the table. Now we can use those dollars at a minimum for infrastructure around the ballpark, which any type of infrastructure improvements, whether it's access, whether it's parking garages, all that comes under our ledger, our side of the balance sheet, if you will.
Right.
So most folks, even if they don't like baseball or sports or are opposed to taxpayer funding for anything like this, when they know that it's for infrastructure that will be utilized by the community above and beyond just folks utilizing the ballpark, are open to that concept. So certainly it will not be an easy task, I'll tell you that. But I believe the the capacity is there, and then hopefully we can get to that point, and then clearly at that point it takes the elected officials to have the courage to analyze it, ask the tough questions. But at the end of the day, if we're protecting the taxpayers, and I think we can get to a model that does that, then it's something that we should not only strongly consider, but also approve.
Ken Hagan joining us from the Hillsborough County Commission ranking member. Something else you didn't have, I think last time, was a lot more support from the mayor. No deference to Mr. Buckhorn, Mayor Buckhorn. But it seems in the past couple of days, Jane Castor has stepped up and sharpened her pencil and said, we're ready to get back out there. And we have some public documents that show that she's met with Mr. Zalupski. Is it fair to say that the city may be more involved in this particular deal this time?
Honestly, I can't characterize it like that because we've always been together as a team. And then when I first started doing my due diligence on this back in 2010, many months ago, I learned quickly on the importance of the city and county being on the same page. I heard nightmare stories after nightmare stories about Miami and issues that they had going down their ballpark efforts. And so I've always made it that our goal that this is going to be a team effort, city, county, sports authority, and Mayor Buckhorn was certainly at the table. Mayor Cass has been at the table, and we've had a couple of meetings over the last year just to ensure that we were all on the same page in anticipation of this day coming. And so I feel very good that when the time comes that we're going to sit down and hit the ground running. I'm sure we'll start with the last model that we discussed with the Rays and then go from there. But again, we had things such as the CIT that was reauthorized that could potentially offer an additional funding source than what we had. So I think we're in very good position, and I'm looking forward to having those discussions.
All right, I recant my characterization of Mayor Buckhorn, for the record. But I'd like to see him put some money up. Anyway, so let's talk about sites now, because obviously the city, if it's within the city limits, that makes a difference. Is it county land? So what available sites do you see now that this group could be looking at?
I think most of the sites that have been discussed in the past would certainly be on the table. I can tell you when we initially met with the Rays back in 2016, we came forward with probably 7 or 8 different locations, and they were only interested in Ybor City. We didn't even have a conversation about any other location. And not disagreeing with that, I think Ybor is a great location. They wanted it for a myriad of reasons, including being in an urban environment and how it would bring in Ybor, Port, Tampa, downtown Tampa, all into one entertainment district, if you will. So that was great, but we never really seriously considered any other location. I know there have been reports lately about Daryl Shaw moving forward with his stadium concept for the Sun, and that is certainly true. I've had discussions with Daryl. However, he's also said, should we get to that point if baseball happens here in the near future, in his words, that he can pivot on that. So that spot is still available. I would say not for very long,
right?
But it still is. And you never know. There may be an undisclosed site or two that's never really been reported all that much on that we'll discuss. But candidly, it's ultimately going to be in the new ownership group and what they want and the location they're looking at. And obviously, we haven't had any discussions like that, so I don't know. Other than the fact that I believe they want to be in Tampa, haven't met with them, have no discussions regarding a location or anything like that.
No exact sites. Do you? It's my opinion, just by talking to folks that are involved in this, and just reading the tea leaves, that St. Petersburg is not an option. It may be an option, a far-fetched one, but I don't think MLB wants it there. I don't think they've ever wanted it there. And no disrespect to St. Pete, but people are still seem to be clinging that St. Pete is going to come back with this new ownership group may look at the revised deal in St. Pete. Do you think that's viable?
I mean, it's certainly viable. It is an option, but I feel very confident it's not a preferred option
Right.
for Major League Baseball and for this new ownership group. And my hat's off to Mayor Welch. He put in a ton of time, sweat equity, money, capital in order to champion that overall development there. And I feel really bad for what happened, but hopefully with the sale, they can move forward on their development plans and get moving there. But no, I believe that MLB wants to be in Tampa. They recognize what really anyone objectively that have looked at the numbers and analyzed this over the years recognizes that it'll be much better in Tampa and Hillsborough County. And as an aside, I always point out that over the last several years when the Rays were modeling ballparks in Ybor and the Trop, there's a reason why the Ybor City ballpark was a lot bigger because they, everyone recognizes attendance is going to be better. And it's not a gut feeling, an instinct feeling. It's the numbers.
Yeah.
And when you look at Ybor City, you more than double the population within a 30-minute drive time that's in the top. The numbers are the numbers.
Yeah. You're getting a little muffled there, Ken. So if you could get that mouthpiece right up to your mouth, that would be great. Yes. So my dream of a stadium next to Raymond James Stadium with a sliding roof and a big entertainment district right in the middle of it, the greatest sports venue in the history of the world, right next to each other to host Super Bowls and national championship. That's not going to happen. We can't have a sliding roof.
Well, let's start with the sliding roof's going to add a couple $100 million to the overall.
That's all right. I'll write a check.
Chump change. Never say never. Anything, and I've been to every major league ballpark but one. Probably over half of the football stadiums, and whether it's Philadelphia or Kansas City or different locations where they've co-located ballparks, it is a special environment. It is. Yeah. You can leverage the infrastructure and parking and different things. So it would be nice, but it would require the Bucs support for that to even be an option. And up to now, we haven't really considered it because the Rays weren't interested in that location.
Right.
I mean, we looked at Midtown. The Midtown developers wanted baseball to be there, and the Rays were not interested in being in Midtown. So, heck, anything and everything is on the table. So never say never.
With a willing group that's trusted and money, anything can happen. Do you know any timelines or as far as Major League Baseball is where they want? I would think they want this expedited as fast as possible to get this done.
Well, without question. I mean, Commissioner Manfred, shared those type of sentiments when we met, that they want certainty. I guess there's, timeline, but also certainty on where they're going to play the next couple of years and where their long-term ballpark's going to be. But, I don't think it's any secret, Commissioner Manfred, his goals were to solve the Oakland crisis, the Tampa Bay crisis, and then they want to consider expansion.
Right.
And so until these two communities, until we've worked out those plans and everyone knows what's going to happen, they're unable to move forward with any potential expansion plans. And so, that's another reason why, Commissioner Manfred wants this to move as expeditiously as possible.
Ken Hagan joining us here, Hillsborough County Commissioner. Can the Rays play a couple more years in Steinbrenner Field, and maybe even we can spruce that up a little bit to get some more seats in there? If there was a stadium announced in Tampa, I know the city of St. Pete doesn't want to fix the Trop; they're just doing it because they have to. But is that a done deal that they're going back to the Trop? Could they play longer in Steinbrenner Field?
I guess theoretically they could. However, we've already asked the Steinbrenners and the Yankees for a hell of a lot to get up to where we are right now.
Right.
Hillsborough County owns that ballpark, but end of the day, this was the Yankees' call, Yankees' decision. They've been incredible partners.
Yep.
They agreed to allow them to play there, and they're truly team players. And I really don't think that they want to extend this indefinitely. Do I think there's a high likelihood they start the season at Steinbrenner next year? Yes, I do, because I seriously doubt they're going to complete the repairs at the Trop by opening day of 26th. That being said, I think they're feeling their thoughts are the worst case scenario. They start there and then transition over back to the Trop. But heck, again, never say never.
All right. Last thing for you, partner. A good friend, Paul Wilson, is coming on later on in the show. And I did not know that your daughter, Elizabeth, is also a movie star and that she played in a movie with the great Paul Wilson. And by the way, for all of you who think Ken's just about baseball, he's also created the Tampa Hillsborough Film Commission that has made it way easier to film things in Hillsborough County, and we're getting a lot more business in that. So great job with that as well. But congrats to having a superstar daughter, not only play softball, but is a movie star. I didn't know that.
Oh man, you just gave me chills. I appreciate that very much. No, I'm very proud of. I'm very proud of. Most things I get talked about are sports and the parks and recreation, those things that I am passionate about. But I'm also proud that Joe created our film commission and a couple of performing arts centers and things like that. But yeah, it's a great movie. She's been in a couple of movies. She's got an IMDb page.
How about that?
Wow.
Nothing too sophisticated, but been in a couple. Had a few one-liners, and it's exciting. It's neat. And what most folks, we can talk about this another time, but what most folks don't understand, that industry is extremely highly paid. It's like 3 quarters above the average wages for any occupation in the state. So it's big business, and so yeah, I'm very proud of it. But thanks for mentioning that.
Well, you're doing a lot for Hillsborough and Tampa proper. So let's get this thing past the finish line, brother. And we are going to celebrate with a very, very large beer somewhere. I'll tell you that.
There will be several of those. And once again, I've said it before, but I just want to thank you for over the years for fighting the good fight, for your vigilance. You've taken a hell of a lot of arrows, just like I have, but it's a fight. It's a fight worth having, and I appreciate you doing that.
Absolutely, Ken. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. We'll see you soon.
Okay, anytime. Take care.
Thanks, Ken.
Great Ken Hagan right there. Yes, we have taken our arrows. Just look at the comments, but mostly positive. Honestly,
still taking them today. You're taking them.
Yeah, I listen. 90% of it's positive. Probably more than that.
Yeah.
So I'll, because people know my heart's in the right place. I'm not grandstanding. This ain't about me. It's always been no. Will I take a victory lap every now and then? Damn right I will, because we do take the slings and arrows. We do. We take them, and we've had our career path altered by certain folks who don't like it when I speak about Stu Sternberg. So, and it is what it is. I wouldn't change a damn thing. My mentor Chris Thomas would have done the same damn thing. And sometimes you got to stand up on principle and speak your mind. And I've done that. I haven't always been right. God knows I'm not always right. But I tell you what I feel in my heart, what I know to be true, what I think is going to happen. And I do the best I can. Not perfect. I try. I've been in this market for 28 years. I talk to a lot of people. I know a lot of things. I'm not, patting myself on the back. I'm just trying to add a little bit of credibility to what we do here. We're not a bunch of freaking yahoos just jumping on microphones, spewing stuff. I got connections. I've got some reporting chops. We've done a few things. Okay. And I say that just to, to lend some credibility to what we're doing here. And guess what? We were right. We were right because it was facts. It was happening. And it's come to fruition. We've known about this group for quite some time. We reported on it in February. We told you that they were in advanced negotiations to sell this team. We told you over the months they've been in the data room looking at the numbers. We told you that these other groups that were clanging and bashing were great people and very interested in doing great things in Tampa Bay, but they were not the preferred group. And we have been spot on every bit of it. And to act otherwise, T-Kraz, is, as many people have said on Twitter, that's not right. That's not right. So anyway, thank you to Ken. So what did we learn there, Timmy? What did we learn there?
We learned that JP has been right just about on everything that he has reported. And JP will tell you that he's been right just about on everything.
Right, I will.
But what I hear a lot of positivity. I hear things are moving in the right direction. And you kind of started the show with it, that a lot of people, I think, believe that they don't know how the operation works. Like, how there's a lot of moving parts to these things. And somebody can't just send Stu a letter of intent saying, hey, I'm going to buy your team. And it makes it official. Like, you can't just do that. Like, you have to go through Major League Baseball to do all of these things, and they have to be involved, and they have to vet you, and it's not just some Joe Blow that thinks he can buy the team. These are all things that are actual and that are real and that are happening. And they've already had to progress through a certain number of channels in order to even get to where we are now. So the fact that the letter of intent was sent, the fact that the county commissioner's office is involved, the fact that Major League Baseball is involved, and the fact that a lot of these things are getting out in the various media channels that they're getting out, that's all on purpose, and that's all very strategic. So things are moving in the right direction. And to be honest, it sounds like things may be progressing quicker than what I thought they would.
Yeah, it's down the track. And Kurt Badenhausen, who broke the story for Sportico, as I said, I was emailing with him. It's a letter of intent, but there's a lot of due diligence that has been done. There, like I said earlier, there may be folks going to throw more money at it, but that's not the way it works. And all these people were known to Major League Baseball beforehand. Yeah. And there's a reason, Major League Baseball knows who John Morgan is. Major League Baseball knows who Miller is in Memphis. They know who all these people are, and they are not the ones that are the favored group. That should tell you something, right? Right. And what Ken said was he knows this group. He knows the people in Tampa Bay, as do I. And as I've said many, many times, when all is revealed, you're going to say, wow. And you'll understand why Ken is so confident that they can get the deal done. And the sits tax is a big deal. That's a huge, huge deal. It's a huge arrow in the quiver that they did not have before. And that's a lot of money available to build a stadium and to get what needs to be done with the Buccaneers. And don't forget, it's not, the county doesn't have to pay for all this. The owners of the teams will be pitching in a significant portion, if not 2/3 of what needs to be done. As far as I know, the Glazers aren't getting any public money to build Old Trafford, rebuild the new thing for Manchester United. Why? Because the money, the dollars work. These new stadiums generate a shit ton of money. And you're not. And by the way, you don't have to write a check for $1.5 billion or whatever the stadium's going to cost. It's amortized. You put a mortgage out on it. It's $30 million a year, $40 million a year, whatever it's going to be. That's, I'm going to say chump change, but that's not a lot of money when you're talking about over 30, 40-year period. Relatively speaking, to the amount of money that you're bringing in. Typical gates for concerts, gates for football games. We're talking about $8 to $10 million, sometimes up to $20 million per event. Not even touching revenue from parking and concessions and liquor and beer. I mean, it's a huge amount of money. That's why they build these things, and that's why they make a lot of money. You haven't noticed the guys that own these things, like Jerry Jones? They're rich. They're rich. Jerry paid for that whole stadium, didn't he, himself? Yeah. I think he did. Most of it, yeah.
I mean, they had, I think, it ended up being $400 million out of the $1.2 billion came from public funds.
So here's what we learned, I think. First of all, the SITS money is a big deal, and that's something that they didn't have before. So all of you, Hillsborough doesn't have any money because you read it in the Times 15,000 times. False narrative. No, there's no corporate support. You read it in the Times. False narrative. It's just false. It's false. This is where the money is. This is where the people are. And again, it's nothing against St. Pete. For God's sakes, people they take it as like a slap in the face. No, guess what? Our beaches suck in Tampa. The Davis Island beach is awful. You have the greatest beaches in the world. We're not sitting there going, oh, our beaches are better. It's so childish. Golly. Anyway. So sits money, Ybor Harbor. Can I say that again? Ybor Harbor. Yes, we can build a soccer stadium someplace else. Daryl Shaw will be more than happy to do it. What did I say when he announced that? Did I say that maybe that's just a shot over the bow to maybe any prospective ownership group that wants to build in Ybor Harbor, that you better get your shiz together? And the next day, the letter of intent was announced?
Yeah.
So Ybor Harbor would be great. The other Ybor site, Ken said, still available there. And I think to me, that's the preferred place. It's an urban setting. You can get there on scooters, on bikes, on ships, on ferries, boat ferries.
Yeah.
You can get there. There's going to be Brightline is going right into downtown Tampa, and that station will be blocks from where a baseball stadium will be. So you have mass transit, you have local transit, you have Uber, you have walking, you have all those things, and you have parking. So that makes the urban areas what makes Monday through Thursday viable. Okay, weekends are not a problem. Monday through Thursday, that's where you need to get the 15 to 20,000 crowds each and every night, so you can average 25,000. And by the way, you don't need to average 35,000 to be quote successful. If the Rays could average 20,000 in a new stadium in Tampa, that's plenty. That's plenty. But
especially the way Major League Baseball is going these days,
right? What you need is the premium seating, and that's the whole thing. Companies will pay for premium seating if they can give the tickets away Monday through Thursday, and people will go to the games. And with you don't have to drive 45 minutes or an hour and a half or 30 minutes, and it's right there from your office. Hey, we can walk over, we can Uber, leave our car here, Uber over. If we're gonna have a few beers, we Uber back. It's so much easier. It's so much easier, and that's why they love the urban core. So what we have here is a motivated group, a deep pocket group, has the money, has the gravitas in Tampa, the political connections statewide with the governor to get this done. You just heard what Ken said. And once you remove the impediment, which is Stu Sternberg, you'll be shocked how much easier things are to get done. And if you don't think he's been the problem, the excess of evidence that has been revealed over the past year or so, then you're just not paying attention. You're just not paying attention. You're in the wrong informational silo. So, all right, questions, comments on that, they're popping up. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We will get to all of your comments and questions. I'll read them all in the break if I can. We'll pick out the best ones, and we will put them up, and we will answer your questions. Paul Wilson coming up at 11:30. We're going to have a little bit of fun with summer blockbusters and all the stuff going on. Great shows to watch this summer if you're looking for some episodics. We'll talk a little NBA as well. I want to get to that and a couple other things. Thanks to all of our great sponsors: Italiano Insurance, Golden Diamond Source On-Site Construction, Third Generation Plumbing, Cafe Paradiso, the Jeeves Law Group, Riveters, and Don'tGoUncovered.com. Don'tGoUncovered.com, folks. If you don't have health insurance, that's a really, really bad idea. And maybe because it's so damn expensive, you just don't have it. I get it. But call them and let them find a way to get you some insurance. There may be some subsidies out there. There may be some different products out there that you don't know about. So call, find out, let them do the work and see what they can come up with. Don'tGoUncovered.com is the website. Make sure you have it. All right. Quick break. Back in 3. Stay with us. Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. JP here for the Gold and Diamond Source. You know, we told you about the amazing Diamond Savings Account where your diamond never loses its value. Well, now, through the end of May, the Gold and Diamond Source will double your trade-in value up to $2,500. Just bring in your jewelry to trade, and your $2,500 piece turns into $5,000. It's time to upgrade that ring, earrings, whatever. We have gemologists on site to make the deal. Double your trade value up to $2,500. Gets you $5,000 to spend. So go through your jewelry box and get that stuff you never wear and get something new and stylish that you're going to love. Great experience, and we will double your trade-in now till the end of May. We can finance you as well. No interest for 5 years. Only at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road. Always online at goldanddiamond.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, are you going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show? It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. Hey, Tampa Bay, it's time to get your AC unit ready for summer. And here at Third Generation Plumbing and Mechanical, we recommend getting ahead of the game, keeping your family cool before the hot summer months with one of our maintenance agreements in the hopes of avoiding the dreaded emergency service call. Our maintenance agreements include, we'll test the electrical components, check and tighten high and low voltage wire connections. We'll check the refrigerant for manufacturer's performance levels, test thermostats, calibrate if needed, clean the evaporator coil and condenser coil, and clear and treat the drain line and drain pans. Just call us at 813-961-8024 for the special rates, and a human will actually answer. 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Hundreds of comments coming in.
Some of them are even nice.
You must see on Twitter, we have more than 4 listeners.
Yeah.
The hate is real, but the love is even more real, baby. The love is even more real. We love it. We love it. I'm just going to start from the top, partner. By the way, Golden Diamond Source, it is June. That means we got moonsite, amethyst, and pearl as our gemstones of the month. So go to goldendiamond.com. You can get 15% off those gemstones of the month. And pearl is for 30th anniversaries. So you would have a 30th anniversary with about 4 wives if you were still married to all of them.
Oh my God, I can't even.
4 pearl necklaces you would have to buy. So that would be a lot. But at the Golden Diamond, you save 15%. So if you're looking for that perfect ring, it's Golden Diamond Source, right? And we love our local companies, Julie and Steve Wine Shop, great local benefactors. They love the Rays. So go on over there, tell them I said hi and I sent you, and buy something nice for your lady or for yourself. They got a big men's department there at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, just over the bridge. Not far at all, but too far to go for a baseball game. All righty, let's get to it, shall we?
What's the point of love, JB? What's
the point of love?
What's the point of love?
Love is the greatest thing in the world, baby. It's all about love.
It just causes pain.
It's all about what it causes so much joy and pain. God, there's so many songs we could go into, right?
I mean, I can get a lot of joy without the love part. I mean, I'm just saying.
You are a downer. All right, what else we got? Let's go. I'm going to get into the T-Crash stuff, but thanks for loving me. Have the Glazers been quiet on the stadium because of this? Perhaps you are correct, Tampa Bay. And by the way, I did a pre-interview with Ken, so I asked him a lot of the questions you guys asked me to ask him, and so I can answer those as well. We only have so much time with him. The Glazers are very much still figuring out what they want. And I think they were waiting to see how the baseball thing was going to play out. Absolutely, 100%. Maybe because they could partner with this new group. You don't ever take anything off the table because, as Ken said, when you have those shared places, it's a huge savings of money in infrastructure, in parking, access roads. And in a situation like this, if there's a roof that needs to be put on both stadiums, well, there you go. So it's an interesting, and I think that's exactly why the Glazers have not. And they also know that their stadium is fantastic now. It does need a roof. We understand that, but that's coming. I think that's coming, but we all want everything in tomorrow. But so I think you're right, Tampa Bay. I think that has something to do with it. Richie P says, could you ask him about the Blake High School site? It's not doable. It is absolutely not doable. They don't want to tear it down, number one, and it just doesn't fit, and there's no parking. So, and it's kind of been, like he said before, the Rays looked at that site and said it's not doable. So yeah, it looks great, but just not practical. Tampa Bay said, I'd like to hear Hagan talk about bucs renovations, and both can be done. Yes, they both can be done. We asked him that last time with the SITS money, but they just need to know what the bucs want and what their share of it is going to be. And because the bucs may want, we kind of know they want to do a mixed use thing. So obviously the county and city's not going to pay for that. But how can that be worked into other parts of the renovation? So there's a lot to be done. And I just, again, this whole idea that Hillsborough County has no money is ridiculous. Their tourist tax have doubled in the past few years. Their tourist tax and plus the SITS money. And then now they're not going to just do it willy-nilly and put the burden on the taxpayers. It all has to be done in a shared way. But again, if you have willing owners who are not there to just screw the public like Stu was, then you can get it done. Okay, what else we got? Daniel Rivera says, damn it, I really hate seeing that, man. That's scary. Hopefully Biggie will be okay. Yeah, the word is he's okay. He's already making jokes, so we're good. Abraham Vatican Sherry. I know how to say your name now. Thanks for the pronunciation help. Vatican Sherry. That's a cool name.
That is cool.
Say, hey, if the Rays need a stadium to play in for a couple more years and Yankees don't want to offer the Stein, how about reach out to the Tigers and Joker Marchand Stadium in Lakeland? It's a long way to go, brother.
It's kind of far, right?
Yeah, it's a long way to go. People aren't going to go. They're just not going to drive over there. I hate to say it, but I know you could draw from Orlando and Tampa. In the weekends, it would be packed, but during the week, it's got to be an urban area, in my opinion. Okay. B says the Joe Malloy group wants to make a higher bid. How long is this LOI for? Again, B. These people just didn't pop up. Do you not think Major League Baseball knows about the Joe Malloy group? And it's not just about what they're offering. It's about who they are and what they can bring to the table. It's not just about money. That's why they've reached this particular price, which is an exorbitant price for this team without a stadium deal. But they know that this group can get the stadium deal done. They know what their plan is. And that's why they're the preferred group. Because Major League Baseball, as Ken said, they want to get to expansion. They want to move this along. They don't want to go in with some unknown group that doesn't have a lot of ties to Tampa Bay, or may have some, but not the right ties, or not as good at ties, not as big at deep pockets and other assets that they bring to the table to get the deal done. It's not just about money. We're not buying a car here. This isn't, the auction. There's a lot more things going on here. So let's be a little bit more. We can be simple-minded in other places on other stations, but here we have to be a little bit more mature about these things.
The irony.
See what I did there. Mike, Orioles have the oldest leather hat. Blue Jays have the jacket. One team puts in a laundry cart and pushes you through the dugout, talking about home run celebrations. Is it time the Rays have some weird celebration? What would it be? I think it's a great question, Mike. It's a great question. So let's start mulling that over. Let's get the team sold first, though. Can we do that?
It's like they should somehow employ the Starburst.
You know how to trigger me, don't you? F that thing.
Almost as much as B knows.
And
that
your
direction.
skateboards.
Yeah.
Your City Connects. Get out of here. We're gonna honor the skateboard and streetscape culture of St. Petersburg.
I mean, that's what it's known for, right?
No, a little bit of street art. Yeah, but skateboarders.
I don't get it.
Hey, a little aside, the people are just now coming to the party of things that you reported. You should really play that snippet from Die Hard. Welcome to the party, pal. I'll put that on, Timmy. By the way, Kenneth gave us an update on his daughter. She's doing very well, or doing much better.
Good.
And reacting to well to physical therapy, all that good stuff. So keep the prayers coming for Kenneth's daughter. That's great stuff. Kenneth G said Romano didn't help anything by further putting things into doubt, undoubtedly paid by Stu's cronies. Yeah, that whole thing, St. Pete's can be back in it now. We don't know if there's all this stuff. It's just like, the razor for sale. Like, God, we're so far past that. But we're clinging. We're still clinging. What else we got here? Adam Abraham says Hagan said he also recently met with DeSantis, who would support state funding subsidizing stadium infrastructure. Yeah, I kind of told you guys about this meeting. They met it wasn't a meeting. All right, but so Hagan was there, Zalupski was there, DeSantis was there. They were all at a Bucs game. So it wasn't an official meeting before we get into, crazy stuff about official meetings. But people were talking, people were come together. So they know who they are. Yes. And then things happen behind the scenes. The mayor, as I told you months ago, DeSantis and Zalupski are very much involved. And that's a great ally to have. Because let's just be honest, DeSantis was no fan of the Rays ownership group and their political culture and stance. That's just politics. Take it for what it is. So if you want to get something done, maybe it's helpful to have that political connection, to say the least. Jeff Stutler says, good morning, JP and Tim. Glad to see this is out in the open finally and excited for new owners and ballpark. Great work, JP. Absolutely. Thank you for the positivity. He met with Castor, not Welch, last month. Good sign. That's right, Jordan. Yeah. Absolutely. Zalupski did not meet with Ken Welch. So if you're thinking about revising the plan in St. Pete, it's not happening, folks. I don't care how many columns we write. It's not happening. Abraham also says that Jacksonville-based developers leading the potential new ownership group, which includes prominent Tampa Bay investors. Yes. How many times can we say that? Tony Thomason says, what's up, JP? Best local sports talk show. Thank you, brother. We got 5 stars.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's best to hear, Jordan G says, it's best to hear a group buying them, much like Dodgers ownership group. More money goes farther. Much better than single owner that is poor by ownership standards. You are correct, sir. You are correct. Thomas Castor says, multi-MAGA bull gators billionaires. Sounds good to me. Sounds like money. Smells like money. Mike H says the problem is that Stu is one of the parties in this, and we all know how that goes, but MLB has put Stu's hands in a vice and are squeezing. I think that's why I mentioned what Topkin put in his article yesterday, that when Stu spoke to his employees by Zoom, that he was very somber and frustrated.
Yeah.
If I was making a $2 billion profit, I don't know if I'd be somber and frustrated, but I get it. But it also tells you that Major League Baseball is driving this thing. So like we said the last couple of days, if it was just up to Stu, yes, this LOI wouldn't be worth the paper it's printed on. But the fact that we know MLB is driving this train makes it, it makes me think it's definitely going to happen. So we'll see. Richie P says it would not be an easy deal to get done for Blake High School site. Yeah, absolutely. I think we can write that off. Rays have been on Zillow for 211 days, says Rick. Calm down, everyone. Please disregard the WDANN misinformation. These people are still on the Stu watch list. Yeah. I mean, Come on. And by the way, giving Stu Sternberg credit for selling the team and, quote, doing the right thing.
Stop.
Is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Look at what he's done. Held up, walked away from a deal in Hillsborough County. We could have already had our stadium done. Walked away from a deal in St. Pete. Did the two cities deal. Playoff signs. Telling St. Pete you're not a major league city. Multiple times. Doing everything he can to extract money and giving very little back. And if you think that he's deciding out of the goodness of his heart to sell the team and, quote, do the right thing, you have zero clue what's going on. Zero clue.
Go look at how much money he's about to make.
But to act like he's in some way some hero by doing this is the dumbest shiz I've ever heard in my life. He can't get a deal done at St. Pete because nobody trusts him because he screwed everybody over. Same thing in Hillsborough County. He's got no options. That's not called doing the right thing. Good Lord. L. Bushman says, I think people need to stop reading the Tampa Bay Times. I'm sure there's some very good people over there. I listen to Rick Stroud's podcast almost every day. It's a great podcast. And Steve Versnick, they do a great job. Absolutely. But they're reporting on the stadium. It's not just me, Latvala, other people, other public officials. Most everybody knows that it's been extremely slanted and a lot of false narratives. I mean, I'm not trying to do anything personal against Romano. I'm just talking about what he reports and what he says and what his opinions are. He's a columnist. We're allowed to disagree. Sure, he's a fine man. It's nothing personal. Same with Mark Topkin. I just disagree with a lot of the things that they write and some of the false narratives. Isn't that my role? Can I do that? Does that make me a bad person? If you can't handle that heat, then I don't know why you're a columnist. And he can, by the way. He's a big boy. He understands the game. Thomas Casper says the group will want to make much more money from developing the area around the new stadium. Need parking and probably be building affordable housing. And that's not happening on the Blake side. No, we're not putting affordable housing near this stadium. No.
I never understood that. Like,
it's a political virtue signal to make the deal look good to some people on a very base level.
Hey, let's put housing for people who can't afford to go to our games right next to the stadium.
Dumbest thing ever. But it's just a virtue signal. It makes a bit, part of this deal is, why don't you, instead of building affordable housing right there, why don't you sell that acreage off at actual market prices instead of giving a $700 billion windfall to the billionaire? And take that $700 million and use that to build affordable housing in other areas where you could build more, get more for your money, and be more accessible to the people that need it. No, we're going to do it next to the stadium because it makes some people feel good and look good in the deal. People are a little bit smarter than that, and they can see past that. At least they should. What else we got here? Abraham says Pinellas County Commissioner Chris Latvala and Ken Hagan believe that the potential buyers announced Wednesday will move the team to Tampa based on shared thoughts on WDAE. Well, we've already told you that here. And even though they say that over there, they still don't think it. They're still talking about St. Pete. My case is always about the other development. Yes, it is. Any other questions that we have here? Jordan G says, Thomas, they are redeveloping the St. Pete site for real estate profit and building raise in Hillsborough. Both can be done in conjunction with these. Yeah, that's the smart thing to do. The Rowdies go with the deal. Yes, I think they do. And then they become part of Daryl Shaw's soccer venture, whether that's in Ybor Harbor or maybe he builds that someplace else. He's got lots of property. But I'd like to see that soccer stadium built. I think that would be a great asset to the local place. What else we got? Daniel Rivera says, my guess is shovels in the ground if all things go right and should by Thanksgiving at the earliest. I don't know about that.
There, yeah.
Yeah, but I know they want to fast track it.
Because it should have already been done. That's why they want to fast track it.
Right, exactly. And I think, these advanced talks mean exactly that, as I told you, they've been in the data room. They've done all the due diligence. They know what the numbers are, finally, verifiable numbers. But I would think if a sale goes through by, say, August, September, right? So we're getting to, September 25. All right. And trust me, they have the stadium. All this stuff is going on while this is happening. So I would say shovels in the ground by early 26. 3 years puts us to 29. They have to drop till 28. God, that seems a long way away. I'll be dead by then. I'll never see it.
It's really not that far away.
Yeah, I guess it's not, but Jesus.
Maybe I'll find love before 2028.
Let me see. What else do we have here? Anything else we need to get to? I just want to give all of you guys, I really appreciate you coming in here and comment. So I respect that very much. And we want to do as many as we can. Devin Garnett says, why is David Sampson being a double downer about the possible sale? He is saying new owners don't have the money. Well, I've had David on the show many times. I know he's good friends with Stu. He's well connected. Zalewski is not, he's not a huge, he's a billionaire and he's worth 1.4, which is a lot more than Stu was ever worth. He's not a gazillionaire, I think is that, but so I think there's, but it's not just him.
Yeah.
It's not just him. And if these guys didn't have the money, why would Major League Baseball be doing this? I don't get that part of it. That doesn't add up. Yeah. At least initially went through 27. Thank you, Sports Gimp Pat.
And they added a year because of Milton, right?
Right. Yeah. Eric Mander's about to have the checkbook ready to start open up here. Boy, wouldn't that be nice?
Heck yeah.
Rick says, amen, JP, on the Pinellas Clown Show. The contractor working on my house is still living in a trailer because he can't get permits. Yep. Thankfully, we are able to in Oldsmar. It's just, it's insane what's going on over there. To be talking about baseball is crazy. James said, to pinch hit for Aranda, you have to blame Cash for making that call. Did you see the game before, how good Aranda was in the comeback? How can you explain Morel for Aranda? Analytics? Sorry, no bueno. Makes no sense.
Head scratching.
It's like building a stadium in St. Pete. Makes no sense. Right. Horses for courses. Good to have you in here. Partner said they just gave one big game back to the Evil Empire. I don't know if they win the game if Aranda goes to a bat, but they certainly has a lot better chance. Joey Wendell says pulling Raz was also a terrible move. I wasn't as attuned to that, but I think you might be right.
The great Joey Wendell.
Yeah, the great Joey Wendell. All right, we're going to take a break. Thank you guys for all the comments. We'll get to a little bit at the end if we have time. Coming up next, the great Paul Wilson. We're going to divert a little bit from baseball and start talking about summer blockbusters. So our actor extraordinaire, our Hollywood media mogul and St. Pete resident, Paul Wilson, will join us. Talk about his new HBO hit that he had playing Richard Nixon. And he'll do it a lot better than I do. We are brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. Get your insurance checkup. Make sure you're saving all the money that you can save. Make sure you're fully insured, that you have your flood insurance, that you have the best auto insurance, that your house is fully covered. That's another thing, that you have your business insurance. So if you started a side hustle, make sure you have business insurance for that. They can take care of all of it. Just 813-877-7799. Another fantastic local community business, Italiano Insurance, for over 60 years. They've been doing this thing. Back in 3 with Paul Wilson. Stay with us.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Going through a medical emergency without health care insurance can cause you to go into crippling debt. In most scenarios, people are forced to either break into their retirement funds or worse, they're forced to file for bankruptcy. The sad truth is that health care insurance is crucial in today's day and age. Look, I get it. Many of you think you're never going to get sick and health insurance is really expensive. Well, we can help you out with that. Depending on your income, we can find great plans and huge discounts. God forbid you get cancer, a car accident. It could literally ruin you financially for life. So make the call and find out. Even though the open enrollment period is over, you may have some qualifying life events that can help you get covered right away. It can be very complicated, a very intimidating process, but we can help. Go to our website and check out all the 5-star reviews about our helpful agents. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. JP here for Riveters, the official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. We're located just south of Ray J and Steinbrenner Field, so it's a great pre- and post-game spot, and the happy hour is amazing. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Check out these specials. $3 Bud Light drafts, $4 domestic bottles, $5 wells, $6 premium wells, $6 cocktails like margaritas. It's unheard of. And the Riveters food is freshly made daily. No freezers. Happy hour food specials include $3.50 tacos and barbecue sliders. $6 you get edamame or chips with the beer cheese, which is amazing. $8 buffalo chicken dip, my favorite. The truffle fries, chili cheese fries, also $8 at happy hour. As well as other specials throughout the week, including Taco Tuesdays, you get $3 tacos, and Wing Wednesdays, 7 o'clock to 1 a.m. in the morning, you get our amazing wings, 5 for $5 and $5 wells and wines. That's a good Wednesday night. So if you're tired of the preppy, overpriced, generic sports bars, come see the amazing, friendly bartenders and staff at Riveters, where customer service really matters. Riveters, just south of where the Rays and Bucks play. We'll see you there. JP here for my friend Jason Fawcett, owner of On-Site Construction. They do residential and commercial renovations and new construction. As a leading home builder and general contractor, On-Site Construction prides itself on transforming homes through superior craftsmanship, dedication to client vision, and an unmatched commitment to quality and service. It's about building relationships. We take the time to understand our clients' needs, preferences, and budgets so that we can deliver a personalized experience tailored to their unique vision. From the initial designs to the final touches, we're there every step of the way, ensuring that the end result mirrors your vision. Here are some testimonials from happy customers. G. Gibson says, no hidden costs, very honest, reliable, creative, and communicates well. Reasonable and fair with their pricing, no hidden costs. C. Smith said, did not disappoint. I'm very happy with the work. This company really cares and will take care of it. So if you're just thinking about building or renovating, give us a call and let's see what's possible. 813-579-5789 or check out our website at onsiteconstructionfl.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Cafe Paradiso. Just heard that commercial with, I love the way you put that piano music in the background. We got to get Paulo in here to do a new one. Goofing around, yeah, for sure. So go on over to Cafe Paradiso this weekend. You want some great Italian food? Try the lasagna or the Gruppo Piccata. Oh, that is so good because the fish is so fresh. And then they put that great sauce over it. Oh, absolutely fantastic. With a nice bottle of wine. Oh, heaven. So going over to Cafe Paradiso. So we have Paul on yet? Is he popped in yet? I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Are you muted? What happened? What happened to Tim? I can't hear you. No, can't hear you. I have to pop in and pop out. Yeah, you're circling the drain. Is that my internet? Are we having issues? Are we having issues? We might be having issues. And I don't see Paul either. So stand by. We'll get this figured out, folks. We'll get this figured out. So that's happened on Get Up this morning. None of their guys could get on. Nope. Still don't have you.
How about now?
Now I got you. I wonder if that's affecting Paul. Let me text him. Come on in the studio.
Oh, Paul.
No, Paul.
Should have just come in the studio.
Yeah, he'll be in a second. Meanwhile, did you watch any of the basketball game last night?
I tuned into the fourth quarter when I knew the Thunder were going to lose. I wanted to see that.
Over. It was over by then.
Yeah.
Did you see that dunk by Siakam, the no look from Halliburton, and then the dunk? Woo! That was a signature moment in that game. So with a chance to win the NBA championship, you completely fold the tent. Either you're really confident that you can get it done in Game 7 at home, or that was a bad sign if you're a Thunder fan.
Yeah,
because SGA was not. He just wasn't aggressive. A lot of them were. Indiana just played with a maturity, and the Thunder played with an immaturity that was rare. That I didn't quite expect.
Just please don't let the Thunder win the championship, please.
Oh, you know what? I may have sent him the wrong link. Okay.
Uh-oh.
That's my bad.
Production issues.
Yeah, my bad. All right, hold on.
We have
dazzle the people with your baseball knowledge or basketball knowledge.
We have interns. Yeah. So if there's not a more undeserving franchise in the NBA to win a championship, I want to know who it is over the Thunder, because the Thunder, they don't deserve anything. I absolutely hate that freaking half-ass franchise 230 miles to my north. I don't get it. Wow. I don't know. I don't like them moving.
That seems weird.
I don't like them moving there. I miss the Sonics, and I don't know why, because I never lived in Seattle. I actually hate the city of Seattle. But for some reason, I always cheered for the Sonics. And when they moved to Oklahoma City and then gave them one of the absolute worst possible names for a sports team in the history of ever, the Thunder. Come on. Look, and I know I'm
Thunder's very close
petty
to the Lightning, by the way.
I know, but somehow that works. I know that I'm really petty. I don't need y'all to be coming at me. I know I'm very petty with my sports takes on team names and crap, all right? I get it. I'm aware. There's no S on the end of it. There's got to be an S on the end of your name.
I'm all right.
And look who's here.
Hey!
Thank God, save us from this inane basketball talk that we had to tap.
You made me talk NBA, and you know I hate the NBA, so this is on you.
What? Come on. When are we going to get an NBA team?
Oh, Jesus.
You can have the Mavericks if you want them.
Nobody wants an NBA team for one.
No.
And nobody in Tampa wants an NBA team.
I do. I mean, do you remember, were you here when the Seattle Supersonics and a thing called the Chicago Bulls played in the Trop? I was there.
I wasn't there for that, but I was here for the Toronto Raptors who played in Amalie Arena, and nobody showed up.
Well,
the entire season they played in Amalie Arena, and nobody cared.
We had I don't know. I was lucky enough to be courtside, and Horace Grant fell right over top of me. And by the way, they're a lot bigger than you think.
They're
a lot bigger than you think.
Oh my God, yeah.
I'd
go to see that Bulls team, yeah, but God, no. Please, no. We got enough. We got to support our teams that we have, for God's sakes. We don't need a basketball team taking up more money. How are you, partner?
I'm doing good. It's so good to see you guys. Happy Friday. I love what Ken Hagan, what a champion of all things culture he really is in Hillsborough County. And I love the idea of Ybor. I really do. I think that it is, not necessarily, the easiest for me to get to from St. Pete, but the dense population around it, it'd be perfect. And what a great little kind of cherry on top of Tampa Bay,
Yeah, I think it would be awesome. The culture, and think about how it would revitalize Ybor City. mean,
Yeah.
Ybor City is a treasure, and at one time was the cultural center of the area. And then, for whatever reason, it's kind of got a little bit run down. But if you imagine a baseball stadium there, revitalizing everything and the great architecture down there and the culture, bringing that back up to where it was, how cool would that be?
Oh,
Really?
yeah. And you talk about the richness of, you said it, of diversity and culture that really was the center of Tampa.
Yeah.
All those, and there's a lot of those classic cigar factories that are, still populated, that are really kind of cool. So it'd be a fun stadium design to kind of incorporate that brick,
Yeah, they did. And I love the original design they had with the kind of the roof, the translucent roof that with the devil ray feature on it. That was cool. So
fun.
Revitalize that whole thing. And you being a lifelong resident of St. Pete, your office right downtown there, I think you can speak to this. You don't need a baseball stadium for St. Pete to be great. And when the things that they can do with that downtown, when they're not putting a baseball stadium there, you can see that, right?
Yeah, I think you and I talked about this when you were on a thing called terrestrial radio.
Yeah.
What's interesting about St. Petersburg, and I think it's, even though we've certainly changed, we're kind of starting to look like Fort Lauderdale because there's nowhere to go but up right now.
Right.
St. Pete has always been, come on over, we love you. You need to go? Great, we're going to be okay. And that's kind of been, it's not a negative, it's just, and it is a difficult thing to get to that stadium, no matter where you're coming from, even from Northeast St. Pete, because of all the one-ways and the density. And, you certainly, Pinellas, of 67 counties in the state of Florida, we are the most dense. But the market center, which, by the way, the market includes Sarasota. The market includes Lakeland and Polk County, and they're not being served in St. Pete. So I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, selfishly, we got to keep it here. And I don't think it's going anywhere. This market's too big and growing too fast to leave this town. So
right. I'm sure you'll have some type of, you need a nice, like maybe a new performing arts center in that where the Trop is. I know the Mahaffey is nice, right? And they just redid that, but some type of amphitheater would be cool down there for the arts.
You know what we really need with all these hotels? We got a lot more coming. A convention center, some type of multi-purpose center. I'm looking right now at the back of the St. Pete Coliseum, the venerable St. Pete Coliseum. And that place is rocking every weekend with some event, and I think to have a larger space, we could be really, really, supportive of something like that. That could be multi-use. Yeah. Yeah. And not kill the taxpayers,
trolley down Central all the way out to the beaches.
They're already doing that. Yeah.
Right.
It's great.
So, there you go. All right. Let's talk about Summer Block. But first of all, let's talk about this show that you're in, Duster, on HBO. I haven't watched it yet, but this is my weekend. We're going to do this. And the cold open involves you being Richard Nixon, correct?
Yes, I'm. Well, the R-rated version of Richard Nixon. I'm going to leave it right there. That was a lot of fun. It's a show that we're about 5 or 6 episodes in. There's about 8 episodes of it. It started like middle of May, set in the 70s. By the way, it's got a really good Rotten Tomatoes score. But look,
92.
J.J. Abrams produced it, and it's really kind of a throwback. It's going to remind you of a Starsky and Hutch, of a Fall Guy.
Yes,
Fall Guy. It's really loosely based on true, and it's the story of the first Black FBI agent, female, and she kind of uncovers this crime syndicate in the southwest, Albuquerque area where we shot it in 1972, and the alphabets and the government we can't sanction that. So by the way, the bad guy, the big baddie. I'm not even going to tell you who that is, but he's really menacing. And so
legendary actor. All
right, it's Keith David. There you go.
So good.
Best voice.
I watched the show. It's a great show. I'm in for the haul. It's great.
Well, and so she's got to hire a getaway driver, and it's Josh Holloway. And what's really fun about Josh was a stunt driver in Hollywood after he was a real stunt driver. Yeah. So he's driving that 1970 Duster, which is the name of the show after that Plymouth Duster. And it's fun. It's rip roaring.
Which was a cousin to my 73 Charger that I had in high school. Yep. The Duster and the Charger are cousins. So
Yeah,
nice.
J.J. Abrams tells that story that he always had this shot. The great voyeurs, the great visionaries always see it first, and he had this shot of a long, dusty kind of desert road with a guy on a payphone. And what's fun about shooting period pieces as an actor is you don't use your cell phone, right? You've got to talk. You've got to go meet. It's the old days. It's kind of like the West, and there's a lot of Westerns coming out too. So certainly Yellowstone wedded us for all that, but it's a fun show. I had a great time doing it. And, it's the third time I played Richard Nixon. So,
well, can you give us a little Nixon? Can you give us a little Nixon?
Well, the thing about Nixon was he was very, very studious about world politics. And, well, he was also very foul-mouthed. And,
did he drop an F-bomb every now and then?
Oh, my first line drops the big fat F-bomb. Yep.
Go ahead. Give us the first line.
It's fun.
Give us the first line. You could say it here.
Okay. All right. So here's the scene. It's the cold open, right? So my Secret Service guys are marching down the hall, and you notice the curl of the room, and all of a sudden I burst through the door and go, "Gentlemen, we got a big fucking problem." Whatever. I mean, it's fun. It was fun.
Hey, Tim, you got to cut that. Did I jump in there too quickly? That's got to be a drop.
No, we'll get it. I get it.
And that's going to be one of our new favorite drop. Gentlemen, we got a big fucking problem.
Big fucking problem. Yes. And he, it was an interesting character to research and play. And I think history will judge him a little bit differently if it's not already. So,
yes. Yeah. And I think that's fair. All right. So we got Duster on the list. Summer blockbusters.
Oh, wait.
We've already reviewed.
Wait, one more show that, now in these dog days of summer, it's a good time to binge watch and get inside and get out of the heat and humidity. Our favorite two seasons here in Florida, heat and humidity. But the show called Mobland, which is on Paramount Plus. And it's kind of interesting considering they're about to, reload with James Bond. And we're starting to see more of Pierce Brosnan. Now, he plays this mob boss in London, but he's got this kind of Irish lilt to him, which I don't know about you without generalizing, but when I see bad guys and mobsters with a thick Irish accent, that's a little bit more scary than the perfect English.
I agree.
Right?
Absolutely. It's like Peaky Blinders.
Yeah. So it's modern. It's a Guy Ritchie style. He directed a couple episodes. But his two warring families, and Pierce Brosnan plays the head of one, and his strong man is Tom Hardy, who has this cold, quiet viciousness that is just not to be missed. Yeah, that's a great series.
Helen Mirren is in it as well.
Helen Mirren is his wife. Yeah, she's the queen, and she's got some of the best lines. She's got really
she's
fun
so good. God, she's so good. You know what I've been catching up on, and it's their last season is Handmaid's Tale on Hulu.
That's been on a long time.
Heavy. Yeah. That was way ahead of its time when it launched about 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah, it launched before COVID. Then the COVID braked, and then they brought it back. And it's just because of it's a story of this futuristic government that happens after a nuclear war, and it's scary. And I think it's never been more meaningful, to be quite honest, from a political standpoint. And it's scary. It's the characters are so well done. But we're in season 4 now, so we're catching up to the final season. It's really, really good.
It started in 2017. So it's just been out for a while. Yeah,
and it was written. Great. The book was written in 1986, I think.
Yeah.
Talk about having some vision.
Very dystopian and really, really heavy material. But extremely well done. Extremely well done.
Elizabeth Moss is great in it. Yeah.
She is so good, so good. Lioness. Somebody put Lioness. You told us about Lioness. That's a fantastic one.
Another
really
Tyler
good.
Sheridan. Really fun romp. I think in terms of blockbusters, we're gonna have a couple big ones coming, and the real. I'm not going to say gamble, but certainly the real most controversial reboot, if you will, is Superman. Not because it's not going to be, I think, fantastic and go make $1 billion, but because there's such acrimony between the two camps, and it was really activated by the Zack Snyderverse, right? That kind of went for a more darker, more heavy the Superman and superheroes, and ultimately that was the Justice League's buildup. But what Peter Safran and James Gunn have done is kind of gone back to the original comic book that's got a little bit more lighter fare. And in this one, without giving too much away, everybody knows Clark Kent is Superman. So now how does he deal with that?
Oh,
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And we get to see Crypto the dog, which people I'm sure have seen the trailers. But that comes out in a couple weeks, July 8th, and it should be a lot of fun. I think it's got a lot of that charm, and you look at the time when Superman, the very first comic came out, that was 1937, and what was happening in the 30s. We were getting ready to go to war, and Japan had invaded China. The Nazis were working with the Italian fascists, and the world was going to hell in a handbasket. Kind of sounds familiar.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and the thing about the new Superman, at least for somebody my age, I'm 54. So when Christopher Reeve came out as Superman, I'm 8-9 years old, and they're going back to the same type of costume, right, with the underwear, because we haven't had Superman in underwear for a long, long time. But graphically.
Trunks.
Okay, they're trunks. Okay, they're not underalls anymore, underoos.
Right. I'm sure we'll see that merchandising for sure.
So visually, though, it takes me back to my childhood, right? So it's for guys my age. Like, I can't wait to see it and wait for it to come out. It's great. It's gonna be great.
And they've added some. They've modified the logo, which appears in some of the comic books, and they've kind of gone back to a little bit bigger shoulders. And the dude, David Cornsweet, he's like 6'6" or 6'5".
Yeah, he's huge.
He cuts a big wake. But I think he'll be charming, and I'm very hopeful for my friends and Peter Safran, who was my boss on Conjuring. He and James Gunn are kind of rebooting the entire thing. And by the way, Wonder Woman's next, so they're really kind of going back to reset.
Who's playing it this time?
They're not saying yet, but there are a bunch of rumors.
Yeah. It's not good. What's her name?
She's out. Gal Gadot's out.
Gal
Gadot.
Yeah, she's out.
Probably not Gal. No,
she's hot though. I like her.
Oh yeah. Well,
she's no Linda Carter. She ain't no Linda Carter.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true.
And she was in
we
the
got
Israeli
Jurassic
Air Force,
Park.
I think Gal was like Israeli military at one point.
Oh yeah.
She was big and bad.
She's a badass. We got ScarJo in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, so that's another. I've heard that Universal is in the theme park business.
Yes, they are.
So I guess they have to support that with 20
movies.
Jurassic. Now this one should be really fun, and it looks a little bit more perilous. That I think is also, that's July 2nd, so that's a couple days before Superman. F1. Brad Pitt. I'll tell you a little story about F1. F1 is next week, the 27th, I believe. But Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise were due to reunite after Vampire, right? And they were going to do a movie called what's it called? Go Like Hell, with Joseph Kosinski, who was going to direct it, who did direct F1. That movie fell apart and later became Ford versus Ferrari,
which I loved.
That's
I loved.
Right. Which is kind of interesting.
Awesome.
Imagine Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt playing those roles. But but this one, F1, and Brad Pitt is not just a fan. I mean, he's driven at Le Mans.
Yep.
He's an F1 driver. So you are really thrown right in that cockpit with them. And it's Joseph Kosinski who brought us Top Gun Maverick. So it's Maverick on wheels, F1. Yeah.
Can't wait.
All right, that's going to be fun. Anything else?
Although I do look, and I'm a racing fan. I'm IndyCar Tim, of course. Open wheel racing is my thing. I do question the reality of a 61-year-old F1 driver coming out of retirement. That would never happen in the actual F1 universe. Like, I can't wait to see how they build that into the story. I'm sure they do somehow, but I'm anxious.
Well, I mean, you saw a 62-year-old flying an F-18 last year.
That's true, but
so
we all know Tom can do whatever he wants.
Sure.
Maverick, I could swallow. Mission ridiculous, I cannot.
Mission repetitive, yes.
Mission repetitive. Yeah. That was awful, but whatevs. All right, Paulie, good to see you, man. And
good seeing you guys.
You're the best. Congrats on all your success.
I'm gonna go wash my balls, so I hope we can go play golf soon.
Yes, let's do that. Wash your balls.
All right.
Yeah,
there he goes.
The new shaft in your putter.
All
right, before we get out of here, got a lot of new people in, man. We're getting a lot of new people, so I want to say hello to you. The first name greatest. I have 3 kids, so all our movies are family stuff. The movies I want to see are usually seen on streaming.
Kind of there with you.
Are there any family movies left? The Smurfs is coming out. There's the remake of the Smurfs.
How to Train Your Dragon just came out.
I want to see that.
The live action. Of course, I saw the cartoon with my kids when they were little years ago when it came out. And
Anybody seen that one yet?
I want to go see the new one. Yeah.
Jordan said he's seeing 28 years later this afternoon. I've not seen that yet.
Yeah, that doesn't do anything for me.
Mike H said the opening scene of Landman, Billy Bob with a feed sack over his head getting pistol whipped reminds me of MLB.
Oh, Mike.
I don't think it's that bad, Mike, but it does make me feel good. I don't mean that.
That's pretty funny.
I'm just kidding. The Gentleman on Netflix was a fun watch as well. I saw
remember that.
Have you seen Tulsa King? I've seen Tulsa.
That's a great
Tulsa
flick.
King.
Yes,
really good one. I recommend that for binge watching. At the heat of the summer is time for binge watching. Yep, June.
Yeah.
Andre all day says, "Hey, it's either that or the Charlotte Hornets."
Oh, gross.
No, thank you. You like the Charlotte Hornets? First name greatest said, watch first episode of Duster. It was awesome. So you saw Paul? There you go.
It's a good flick.
Yeah,
but you know what? They like CGI'd Richard Nixon's real face over Paul Wilson. So it's Paul Wilson's voice and everything.
He
I'm
says,
sure he's dressed up a little bit, but
dude, no, he said that what they did a little bit of AI, but not much. I saw the whole makeup. He has a trailer has a video that we did on my Tampa Bay Tonight show, which we are reviving, by the way. Tampa Bay Tonight on RHS TV. We shot a couple episodes yesterday. Paul was in one of them. And he showed us the whole makeup thing. They put the jowls on him and the hair and everything. So that what you saw was him with a little bit. Yeah.
So that's it. That's the way it aired.
Yeah, that's him.
Dude, that's incredible makeup.
Yeah, it's insane.
It looks CGI'd. Because here's Paul in another Nixon role. They didn't do the makeup like that. Yeah. But it was still good. It was still good.
What else we got? Andre Alday says Brody Brazil's motive was to have the Rays move out of the Tampa Bay area. He's bitter that the Athletics departed from Oakland. No, he doesn't have an agenda. I've been on his show.
Yeah.
I think Brody's approach is to stir the pot, to get people to watch and make things interesting. And I think he does a great job.
He does. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, we do something similar, but we try to base it in a little bit more. I'm gonna say more. We've just been a little bit more dialed in. That's it, and
and he's on the West Coast, so clearly he doesn't have the same insight that JP has here in Tampa. So
Nathan says, you mean LaFlop James didn't play in the NBA Finals with one of his handpicked teams? But he is the greatest.
Nobody thinks he's the greatest unless you don't know anything about basketball in the NBA. I'm sorry, you youngsters.
He's got the longevity and some great, he's not the greatest player ever. I'll never give him that. He's got a lot of great, but no, Michael was fantastic. I wouldn't even put him in the top 3.
No, me neither.
All right. Anything else?
I'm sure we can piss off some more millennials by talking about LeBron James. LaFraud.
Yeah. Devin Garnett, what's up, brother? You said, I love that Brody's chilled out with his Orlando talk. It pains him to see what's developing. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It just, listen, I think from the outside, it made a lot of sense from people. But if you were clued into what we've been clued into, you knew it was never going to happen. There's a lot of other reasons Orlando was never going to happen. And it's just such a classic playbook for Major League Baseball. Get people excited. The more cities that put their groups together for expansion, the more they can charge for the expansion fee. It's all about money. And that's, it's a business. It's a business in the end, right? So just they're trying to get that price up as high as it can go. And I think it might be, by the time we're done with this, $2.5 billion for an expansion team, which makes 1.7 for the Rays in an established market, a bargain, So this is all coming down the road. So, again, to kind of wrap this up, thanks to Ken Hagan for joining us. If you missed that interview, go back and watch it on whatever platform you are. The beauty of this, you can just rewind and go see it. And it was at the 10:30 mark, 10:33 mark, if you want to jump back in there and watch that. A lot of important news-making information in there. So go ahead and check it out. And what we've come to is this. Ken said he's 100% optimistic that he can get a deal done with this group. He knows this group. Major League Baseball knows this group. Contrary to popular belief, what you may read, this did not just pop up yesterday. This has been long. We reported it in February. This group was identified by Major League Baseball. They've been working with Stu. Stu hasn't even talked to any of these other groups in any meaningful way. There's a reason why the Malloy group, the Carter McCain group, and all these other groups that are on the outside making noise because they're not on the inside and they're trying to get in. They're fine people and they want to do great things and they're doing their best to get the attention of Major League Baseball. But this is the group that Major League Baseball wants. I'm not saying it's totally done. It's a letter of intent, but Major League Baseball is driving this, not Stu Sternberg. So I think it gets done. I think it's announced that I think they get a stadium done in Tampa. He mentioned a bunch of sites. Ybor seems to be the most desired site. Ray J on the outside. He mentioned there's some sites that nobody's talked about that could be part of it. So that's interesting, but it's going to get done. And he talked about the money, the SITS money being part of this new equation, which is considerable. That's a huge, huge deal. And they'll be able to get the Bucs done and the Rays done. People think that Hillsborough doesn't have any money because of a false narrative that has been put out there forever. It's not true. Hillsborough County has doubled their Turks tax revenue over the past 5 to 7 years. So there's money to be had there. It's just not going to be handed out willy-nilly like St. Pete was going to do. So, yeah, go listen to the interview. You'll get all the news. Bottom line is this week, the sale is on. Got a great group here. Not a perfect group, but a great group. Much more money than Sternberg ever had. They have great connections, Tampa Bay ties that are going to be able to get this deal done. And that's what's important. And I can't wait for it all to come to fruition. Have a great weekend, everybody. Timmy, thank you for hanging in.
I am heading across the street as soon as we hang up here to the KPMG Women's PGA Championship.
Oh, nice.
Frisco Ranch, literally across the street. Are there any female golfers you would like me to accost?
Nelly Corda?
I'm already on my plans, yeah.
Oh, you're already on your top of your list.
It's gonna
what's
happen.
the other girl? Charlie Hull? Go say hi to Charlie for me.
She's in the smoking section, and I don't go in there, so I'm not sure that.
Because she's smoking hot.
It just makes her a little less attractive to me. I'm sorry. Always having a cigarette dangling out of her mouth, it's a turnoff for me. But she is hot, and I probably still would. But
yeah, yes, you would.
Anyway, that's where I'm headed. That's my
Have
Friday.
Fun,
here.
brother. With that, those are always great hangouts. All right, I will be watching Rays baseball all weekend and following any developments. So catch up with us on social media. We will see you Monday on Tuesday. Kent Badenhausen, who wrote the Sportico. Kurt Badenhausen will be joining us on Tuesday. So developments over the weekend, we'll be chatting, cohorting on our information. So we'll have something very new for you on Tuesday. Do not miss that. Monday, we'll have some great stuff too. Have a great weekend, everybody.